Hey everyone, Christine here to make another video. In my last video I told you guys that I was going to do a doll body comparison between the MiroDoll body and the Dollstown body. The MiroDoll body that I am reviewing today is going to be the one that has been banned, well, one of the ones that has been banned off of DOA, which is the 70 centimeter body. MiroDoll is currently selling it again on their website, even though they had taken it down after DOA took it off their website. Before I go any further and show the bodies, if you cannot watch anything that has doll nudity, please find another video to watch, because after this moment I am going to be showing naked dolls. Alright, you've been warned. Here in front of us we have the two dolls in question. Before I say anything else about them, here are the stats for each doll. So the white skin one is a pale skin Dollstown 18-year-old girl body. The tan one is a tan MiroDoll 70 centimeter girl body. The height is pretty similar. The Dollstown one, which is the white skin one, is 69.6 centimeters. The MiroDoll is 70 centimeters. The neck circumference, very, very similar. I'll be showing this to you guys in a minute. 9.35, 9 centimeters. Bust is almost identical. The waist is almost identical. The hips seem to be the difference. The hips on the Dollstown body is actually 2 centimeters different. The shoulders are almost identical, and the leg length is a little longer for the Dollstown body. So now let's look at the bodies themselves. Here they both are. Since this one is their version of white skin, it's really hard to tell the details that are on the body. But if you look really closely, the Dollstown body does have a lot more detail. It's got ribs here, it has an indent here, and it has these two little, I don't know what they're called, but hip bones, I guess. Now, looking at the MiroDoll body, some people seem to think that the bodies look very similar, which I can completely see now that I own both of them. They kind of just got rid of all of the details. And you don't see any of the bones here. You do see the hip bones, but I mean, they're just not as well defined. Another thing, the breasts. They are very, very similar in size. As I mentioned, the bust is 26 centimeters. So looking at both of their busts, you can see that they're very similar, but these are a little more well-defined and slightly perkier looking, in my opinion. Another thing I wanted to note is the hands. MiroDoll has been known to have kind of spatula-looking, gaudy hands, but these actually look very similar. So when I found out that MiroDoll, well, when I saw that MiroDoll was banned off of DOA, I was the first person to say MiroDoll didn't do anything wrong and their dolls look similar, but that's it. But even these hands look similar. I mean, like, clearly they were using Dollstown as design to, you know, try to look like. The thing that MiroDoll didn't do anything like Dollstown is the joints. So here is their, I guess, peanut, but it's an extra joint part for the double joint. This is how it works. You can do that. And it's pretty, you know, it's pretty decent. MiroDoll, on the other hand, their peanut is, well, shaped kind of funny. And, I mean, it works to some extent, but it's not as nice looking. Hold on. So this is what theirs looks like. Now it leaves a lot of space here, so, you know, if it has pants on, then that's fine, but if not, it looks a little funky. Now, moving to the joints in the hands, or in the elbows, excuse me. Here are, let me move this. Here are the elbow joints. So on the Dollstown 18-year body, they have the same type of joint mechanism as in the knees. it works fairly decent, as you can see. And now we're going to the MiroDoll one. So this isn't even a peanut. This is more like, I don't even know, a circle, a sphere. And she can hold a pose like this, but this is near impossible, as you see, because there's just not enough peanut here to hold this part up. So this is a design flaw for the 70 centimeter body, and they did not use this mechanism at all. Moving on to other things on the body, the shoulders. So as I mentioned earlier, the shoulders are exactly the same size, 13.5 centimeters in width. So this area right here. In this body, the Dollstown body, you can see that there is like an indentation here to leave room for the arms to move around a little more. MiroDoll did not do that, and their doll arms can move a little, but there's just not as much room. Oh, and by the way, in case you're wondering what that is, that came with the doll. It looks like a little bit of unmixed color. Once again, for the Dollstown body, you can definitely see every single detail that they put into the shoulder blades. There's even a little bump on the back. There's a slit going down, not a slit, but you know, this little curve right here. And you can see all of it. In fact, she even has these little dimples right here. She has an indentation here, which helps her, I guess, sit. I'm not really sure. Maybe stops her from putting her leg all the way back. And they also have an indentation here, which helps this sit all the way to here like that. Whereas if this was more rounded, I guess it would be harder for her to sit on her legs. For the MiroDoll, we have a small, I don't know, a semblance of some kind of little shoulder blade here, and we have this little bump here. So it really does look like they were kind of trying to copy, but not as much in detail. So you still see this, but there's just the details really lacking. When we get to the butts look a little different, but I mean, for the most part, it's a butt. Where we get to the legs, they are not the same. So I said that this one had a little, you know, a thing to kind of hold it. They don't, so the legs can go back a little more. And they also have this extra joint, the, what is it, mobility joint here on the thighs, which I actually like, but there's really nothing to keep it, I don't know, to keep it staying where it's supposed to be. So yes, it has a lock here, but trying to get it to do anything else, it's kind of useless. Had to cut some of the video, but we're back. So I wanted to stand up the dolls. This took quite a while, and believe it or not, it was easier to stand the MiroDoll than it was to stand the Dollstown body. Now, looking from the back angle, you can see that the MiroDoll stands with a very weird arched back look right here, whereas the Dollstown body stands pretty straight. Now, coming around the front, you can see that both of them look like they're standing up pretty straight, even though this one, it's not. The legs. The MiroDoll's legs go inward here a lot, and the leg doesn't go straight down. It actually curves outward and then back in. So a thing to keep in mind if you want to do certain poses, it might be very difficult with this MiroDoll body. Now, I'm going to pick them up real quick. Oh, by the way, you can see their size for the most part, and the fact that their necks are supposed to be around the same size, even though it looks like the MiroDoll one's a little thinner. But they're supposed to be the same. They're about the same height. It even seems like this one's taller, but that's because she's arched a bit. Now, when I pick them up, you're going to notice the weird thing their legs do. Of course, this one's not doing it now, but they start kind of like twirling on top of each other, and sometimes the legs like completely go backwards. So they'll like twist like this and go like this, and it's really hard to get them back in place. This happens with both dolls. If they're not in the right position, they won't even sit. So, and then once you pick them up, they start kind of moving all over the place. But yeah. Now looking at their feet, just gonna go down to their feet for a moment. Try to get a zoom in of these two feet. You can see that the Dollstown one is much nicer looking. It's more articulated, whereas the MiroDoll kind of has these fat, chubby feet. And this Dollstown one has articulation right here and also right here, although I really don't know what the purpose of that is. Whereas the MiroDoll one is just connected by the one piece. There's no ball joint here or anything like that. It's just one piece connected to the S-hook onto the string. Alright, so as mentioned, these dolls are very similar looking, but I don't think that MiroDoll recasted this body. If they were going to do that much work, or that little work I guess, then they probably would have just used these much better double joints than the ones that they used, you know, or at least tried to take the idea of having that extra joint here, because this is kind of, you know, I don't know, if you're gonna steal something, you know, do it good. But anyway, I think that they did use the body, the Dollstown body, as a reference, which, you know, I think in the doll community, a lot of doll makers do this. In fact, I know for a fact that there are several MSD-sized dolls that look very similar to Fairyland's minifies. A lot of them, even to the point where their joints are similar. So I'm not quite sure why MiroDolls happen to be banned for looking similar, but I mean, that's a different story in itself. The point of this video was to show you guys the two bodies so that you can decide which one you like better, which, I mean, it should be obvious, but which one you're gonna get. Price-wise, there's a huge difference, so just keep that in mind. And, you know, Den of Angels doesn't accept this body on their website. So if you are planning to get a MiroDoll, you might not want to get the 70cm one because you can't take pictures of it on Den of Angels. Now, of course, on Facebook and everywhere else, Instagram and everywhere, you can still have pictures of this body. So you can keep that in mind as well. Well, thank you for watching this video, and I hope that I helped you out in trying to figure out how similar these bodies are or how different they are. Thanks for watching.